I've been familiar with this flip design since my childhood, so I was especially looking forward to the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 7 review. Together with the Fold 7, it's Samsung's latest flip phone, and I've reviewed it extensively. I took many photos, played Fortnite, and compared it with the S25 Ultra, Fold 7 and Flip 7 FE. I like it a lot, but I also noticed some weaknesses, and it's definitely not the best phone for everybody. But let's go step by step, starting with the design. Obviously, the design immediately reminds me of a tricorder from Star Trek, and for a while I replaced my tricorder with the Flip 7. I still have some concerns about the foldable display, but it's very cool how small the Flip 7 can become because of it. When unfolded, it's as big as an S25 Ultra, and when folded, it's very small and handy. According to Samsung, the folding mechanism is quite rugged. The frame is made of aluminum, the front display is Gorilla Glass, and it's only 6.5mm thin and weighs 188 grams. It's a pity that it's only IP48 certified, but apparently that is a limit for a folding phone. It has a USB-C 3.2 port, which can also be used to connect external monitors. The fingerprint reader is integrated into the power button and works quickly and reliably. When unfolded, we get a 6.9-inch AMOLED display with 120Hz and up to 2600 nits. It's among the best panel on the market. The resolution is 1080 by 2520 pixels, so it's nicely sharp. In addition, there's the second outer display, 4.1 inches in size, also with AMOLED, 120Hz and the same 2600 nits peak brightness. It offers a resolution of 948 by 1048 pixels and is excellent for selfies, widgets and quick replies. In everyday use, the display performs very well. Colors look great, blacks are deep and contrast is strong. Even in direct comparison with the S25 Ultra or Fold 7, it's hard to spot a difference. Here, the Flip 7 plays right at the top. Unfortunately, that is not the case for the speakers. They are certainly good and I enjoy watching YouTube and especially listening to podcasts, in fact also on the small display. But compared to the S25 Ultra and Fold 7, the sound quality is slightly worse. Samsung has installed two cameras on the back of the Galaxy Z Flip 7. A 50MP main camera with f1.8 aperture and a 12MP ultra wide with f2.2. The unfolded front camera delivers 10MP, and while the quality is good, it's worse than the other two. Samsung could have just left it out. I always took selfies with the 50MP main camera, and thanks to the flip design, that works really well. This is really one of the phone's strengths. I think it's a perfect phone for TikTok and Instagram influencers who make a lot of videos of themselves. And by the way, also great for video chats. With hardly any other smartphone can you take such good selfies, because here you can take them with the main camera. This sounds like a huge praise for the main camera, and I do think it's really good, but the 200MP on the Fold 7 and S25 Ultra are slightly better. Still, I took really nice shots with the Flip 7, especially in RAW. Photos are sharp and can be nicely edited afterwards. It's a pity that there's no telephoto camera. I wish Samsung had included the Ultra's 5x zoom. But well, it is what it is. The 12MP ultra-wide camera is not on the same level as the Ultras. But in fact, the shots with it are still pretty solid and overall very good. Not the absolute best, but very good also in RAW. By the way, compared to the cheaper Galaxy Z Flip 7 FE, there are almost no differences regarding the cameras. The 12MP mode of the main camera may be slightly worse on the FE, but in 50MP and especially in RAW, the shots are identical. If the cameras are your main concern, you can safely save some money with the FE. Inside sits the Samsung Exynos 2500 chip. Definitely a strong chip, accompanied by 12GB of RAM and 256 or 512GB of UFS 4.0 storage. During my test, the system ran very smoothly, apps open quickly, and multitasking works without problems. Although the benchmarks are behind the Snapdragon 8 Elite of the S25 Ultra, you don't notice that in everyday use. In Geekbench 6 and 3D Mark, the Flip 7 shows better results than the Flip 7 FE, but is slightly behind the Fold 7 and S25 Ultra. It's clearly a flagship, but Samsung is clearly not aiming for top performance scores. My gaming test shows exactly that. As always, I installed Fortnite and set it straight to maximum graphics, epic and 100% 3D resolution, but I could only select 60 FPS. On the S25 Ultra, up to 120 FPS is possible, and that is probably not due to the chip's lack of performance, but because Epic Games is not optimizing the game for Exynos chips. Well, the game settles at 50 to 60 FPS when actually playing, and I think much more would actually not be possible anyway. The Flip 7 gets quite warm while playing, as you expect that due to the foldable display, Samsung cannot cool it as well, and therefore it throttles faster. I noticed the same with the Fold 7. Ultimately, you can still play any game, of course, but it's clearly not one of the absolute best gaming performers out there. Samsung ships the Flip 7 with Android 16 and its own One UI 8. I love that they guarantee 7 years of major Android updates until July 31st, 2032. That is always great with Samsung. One UI 8 runs smoothly, is well thought out and offers tons of customization options. Samsung DeX is also included and works great. DeX is a desktop mode and works only with an external monitor connected. You can also connect a mouse and keyboard. Despite its compact design, the Galaxy Z Flip 7 houses a 4300 mAh battery. In our battery test with a YouTube HD video in a continuous loop at max brightness, it achieved a runtime of a very strong 26.3 hours. This is a top value and clearly better than the Flip 7 FE. What I really like about the Galaxy Z Flip 7 is that you can use the main camera as a selfie camera, and the small display is very useful. Both displays are good and the speakers are okay, and even though the cameras are not the best of the best, they are still very good and I enjoy taking photos with them. I think the Flip 7 is not for gamers. If you want to play seriously, I would go for the S25 Ultra. But if you're looking for a very small and compact device that can also be large when unfolded, the Flip 7 is a nice choice. And I think especially because of the longer battery life, it's not worth it for many to go for the Flip 7 FE. Since Samsung unfortunately did not copy the tricorder interface, it will not replace my tricorder either. I'm much more tempted by the Fold 7, which I've also reviewed of course, and I definitely recommend you watch that video next. In that video, you will also see how it performs as a tablet and laptop.